In the 16th century, the geopolitical landscape of Eurasia was fundamentally transformed by a new military technology that had reached its zenith: gunpowder. The mastery of cannons and muskets, combined with highly centralized state structures, gave rise to a new era of powerful Islamic empires that historians have collectively termed the Gunpowder Empires. These three great states, the Ottomans, the Safavids, and the Mughals, dominated vast territories, commanded immense wealth, and left an indelible mark on the cultures of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Their success was built on a foundation of military innovation and effective administration, allowing them to consolidate power and expand their borders on an unprecedented scale. These empires were not just military juggernauts. They were also centers of art, architecture, science, and learning, creating some of the world's most enduring cultural treasures. Yet, their stories are also intertwined with conflict, not just with their external enemies, but with each other. So, who are these three great empires? What were the unique characteristics that defined each of them? And how did their rise and eventual decline shape the modern world? The Ottoman Empire. The long reign, the story of the Gunpowder Empires, begins with the Ottomans, the oldest and longest-lasting of the three. Emerging from a small Turkic principality, or Beylik, in Anatolia during the late 13th century, the Ottomans' rise was fueled by military discipline and a strategic location on the frontier of the weakening Byzantine Empire. The use of firearms, especially cannons, gave them a decisive advantage in siege warfare. Their military might was epitomized by the Janissaries, an elite infantry corps of converted Christian boys trained to be fiercely loyal to the Sultan. A pivotal moment came in 1453 when Sultan Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror, captured the ancient Byzantine capital of Constantinople. This conquest marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of the Ottoman Empire's imperial ambitions. Constantinople was renamed Istanbul and transformed into a glorious Islamic capital from which the Ottomans would rule for centuries. The empire reached its golden age under Suleiman the Magnificent 1520 to 1566, who oversaw the empire's greatest territorial expansion, conquering large parts of Hungary and North Africa. Suleiman's reign was not just about military conquest. He also commissioned magnificent architectural projects, codified a comprehensive legal system, and presided over a flourishing of arts and sciences. The Ottoman Empire was renowned for its sophisticated and centralized administration. The Sultan ruled supreme, assisted by a council of ministers led by the Grand Vizier. For its multi-religious and multi-ethnic population, the Ottomans implemented the millet system, which allowed non-Muslim communities to govern their own affairs under their religious leaders, fostering a degree of autonomy and stability. The Ottomans' ability to integrate diverse peoples into a single, cohesive state was a key to their longevity. The Safavid Empire, a Shia powerhouse. To the east of the Ottomans lay their primary ideological and geopolitical rival, the Safavid Empire of Persia, modern-day Iran. The Safavids originated not as a military state, but as a Sufi religious order. In 1501, their leader, a charismatic 14-year-old named Ismail I, declared himself Shah and conquered most of Persia. What set the Safavids apart was their aggressive promotion of Twelver Shiism as the state religion. This decision was a revolutionary act that gave the empire a powerful new identity and set it apart from its Sunni neighbors, the Ottomans and the Mughals. Under Safavid rule, Iran was transformed into a cohesive Shia state, a legacy that continues to define modern Iran. The Safavid Empire reached its height under Shah Abbas I 1588 to 1629. A military innovator, he reformed the army along the lines of the Ottomans, creating a new royal army equipped with gunpowder weapons. He used this army to reclaim lost territories and secure the empire's borders against both the Ottomans and the nomadic Uzbeks. Shah Abbas also moved the capital to the beautiful city of Isfahan. Under his patronage, Isfahan became a masterpiece of urban planning and a center for art, architecture, and intellectual life. The city's magnificent mosques, palaces, and public squares, such as the Imam Square, became symbols of Safavid power and sophistication. The Safavid rulers were great patrons of the arts, especially miniature painting, carpet weaving, and poetry, creating a uniquely Persian Islamic cultural synthesis. The Mughal Empire, a jewel in the subcontinent, the last of the three great gunpowder empires, was the Mughal Empire in the Indian subcontinent. It was founded by Babur, a Central Asian prince and a descendant of both Tamerlane and Genghis Khan. After being ousted from his homeland, Babur set his sights on India. In 1526, using cannons and muskets to devastating effect, he defeated the much larger army of the Delhi Sultanate at the Battle of Panipat, laying the foundation for an empire that would rule a significant portion of India for centuries. The Mughal Empire reached its zenith under a succession of brilliant rulers, most notably Akbar the Great 1556 to 1605. Akbar was a master of military strategy and political governance, expanding the empire to include almost the entire Indian subcontinent. More importantly, he was a unifier. Ruling over a population that was overwhelmingly Hindu, Akbar instituted a policy of religious tolerance, engaging in interfaith dialogue and even creating his own syncretic religion, Din-i-Ilahi, to foster peace and unity between his Hindu and Muslim subjects. The Mughal period was a golden age of art and architecture, blending Persian, Central Asian, and Indian styles to create a unique and breathtaking aesthetic. The most famous example is the Taj Mahal, built by Akbar's grandson Shah Jahan as a mausoleum for his wife. The Mughals were also great patrons of miniature painting, music, and poetry, leaving behind a rich cultural legacy that continues to influence modern India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Comparisons and shared trajectories. The three gunpowder empires shared remarkable similarities that defined their era. They all leveraged the power of gunpowder technology cannons and muskets to create vast, centralized empires. Their rulers were absolute monarchs, supported by highly effective bureaucracies and professional armies. All three were also great patrons of the arts, architecture, and learning, leading to periods of immense cultural flourishing. However, significant differences also existed, especially in their ideological and religious identities. The Ottomans were the standard bearers of Sunni Islam, the dominant branch of the faith. The Safavids were militant Shia and their most aggressive ideological rival. The Mughals, while a Sunni-led state, ruled over a vast Hindu majority, forcing them to adopt a policy of religious pluralism that was unique among the three. These religious differences fueled centuries of intermittent warfare, particularly between the Ottomans and Safavids, as they vied for control of Mesopotamia and ideological supremacy. By the 18th century, all three empires began a slow and painful decline. A combination of internal strife, weak and corrupt rulers, and a failure to keep pace with the military and technological advancements of a rising Europe sealed their fate. The Ottoman and Safavid empires struggled with internal rebellions and administrative decay, while the Mughal Empire was torn apart by internal conflicts and external invasions, paving the way for the rise of the British East India Company. Conclusion: a legacy of power and culture, the Gunpowder Empires represent a crucial turning point in world history. They demonstrate how a single technological innovation could enable the rise of a new type of centralized, powerful state. The Ottomans, Safavids, and Mughals were not just military powers. They were civilizations that governed with sophisticated legal and administrative systems and left behind an astonishing cultural legacy. Their decline in the face of a technologically superior Europe ushered in a new era of colonialism and global power dynamics. Yet, their impact endures. The political and cultural maps of Turkey, Iran, and the Indian subcontinent are still shaped by the legacies of these great empires, reminding us of a time when the Islamic world stood at the center of global power and cultural exchange.